So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom, and we're continuing to look at the top tanks at various tiers according to that wonderful site VBAddicts, and as they compile stats from all the player base across all servers over the last 30 days. And we've done pretty much everything now up to tier 10, apart from the artillery. Yes, I haven't forgotten that. And this time we're going to look at medium tanks. Now, if there was one illustration for Clan Wars and why you should play it to get the best tanks, it's probably this chart. So we're going to look at the top 5 in reverse order, and then we'll see some gameplay from the number 1 tank, and then we'll hit the bottom 3. I was debating whether to make... Do you know what? I'm on the fly. I'm going to do the top 6 because there are several tanks in the top 5 that are not available to most of us mere mortals, which is a bit of a shame. So I'll take the top 6 reverse order, and then we'll play a game from the number 1, and then come back and look at the bottom 3. Anyway, let's get cracking. Okay, so at number 6, according to VBAddicts, for top damage dealing medium tanks at tier 10 right now, is the Russian Object 430 version U. I'm surprised this wasn't higher. If I counter this thing, I get scared. It's a very, very brutal medium tank. A lot of that's to do with this 120mm M62 T2U gun, 5.88 rounds per minute, 252 average penetration, 340 with the skill round, which of course we know we'll be facing, 68 HE, 440 average damage is very nice, and very impressive 2,588 DPM. Dispersion not so good, 0.4 and 2.3 aim time. So yeah, pretty good gun. Only -5 gun depression is a bit of a weakness for this thing. 39.63 turret traverse is very useful. So, good gun. Very good gun. Survivability, 2,000 hit points is very chunky. 160 hull armor, 90 at the side, 45 at the rear. Very good. 300 on the turret. This thing is a beast for bouncing things off the turrets. 195 on the side and 65 on the rear of the turret. Mobility wise, it's okay. 42 tons, 600 horsepower engine, 14 power ratio, 50 top speed, 54.24 traverse speed. So reasonable without being spectacular. Concealment, very good actually, 17.44 concealment value when stationary and in cover, and that's of course without anything added to it. And a 400 view range is also very good indeed, and that's why it comes in at number 6. 37,361 games, 2,301.60 average damage per game. So at number 5 comes the Italiano, the Progetto M40 Mod 65. 33,468 games, 2,384.96 average damage per game. As with all the Italian tanks, has that auto-loading gun. Well, there's auto reload. It's not a full auto-loader. It reloads each shell individually as soon as you fire the first one. It's 105mm guns, 268 penetration, 330 with the heat rounds, 105 with HE is very effective. Only 360 average damage, 440 with the HE round. I've lost the chart, hang on, there we go. 0.33 dispersion is very nice, an aim time of 2.1. It's a nice looking gun, has a 4 shell magazine, I believe, or 4 shell reload thing. So you probably all played the Italian tanks now. You fire your first shell, it starts to reload that shell, and unless you pull the trigger for a second shell, in which case it starts reloading the first one again and then goes into the second one. So you have a choice of firing individual shells or firing bursts of shells, or you just fire the whole clip. But if you fire the whole clip, the reload is very, very long indeed. 37.55 turret traverse is very nice. -9 gun depression is also very good indeed. So you can see it takes nearly 50 seconds to reload the entire clip if you were to blast it all off. So that's how but by the time you get to tier 10, one hopes you've worked out how to use this gun in terms of bursts and how best to optimize it. And the best players, you see them, they've worked out the best fire, which I think is 2 shells. So you fire 2 shells, reload those each time, and that's the best way to optimize your DPM out this gun, I believe. I haven't got that far. I've only got to tier 7. And then they'll use the entire clip when they're going to pounce on somebody and just try and take them down at, you know, mid game, late game. And that seems to be the way to play this thing. So 1900 hit points, 50, 40, 25 on the hull armor, so you're not going to be saving much impacts on that. 120 on the turret, 40 and 30 on the side of the turret. Mobility wise, it's pretty good actually. 40-ton vehicle, 750 horsepower engine, 18.75 power ratio, 65 top speed is very nice, and 56.32 traverse speed is also very good. So pretty nimble, pretty good. How about concealment? Well, not so good. 15.39 concealment is nothing special. So it's more of a mobile assassin rather than a sit in a bush assassin, which is the way it should be. It's a medium tank. 400 view range is very good though, so you know, it's a good support medium, this thing. Very good indeed, and that's why it comes in at number 5. So I don't mind telling you that this one confused me when I first saw it in the charts. I thought it was, hey, the 121B? Is that a black version of the 121? But no, this is a another reward tank. This is a tier 10 Chinese reward tank, and it's kind of an upgraded version of the 121 that you get on the tech tree. This thing comes in at number 4 for average damage dealt. Again, small sample, 2,768 games, 2,428.11 damage per game, average damage per game across all servers in the last 30 days according to VBAddicts. So yeah, so this is weird. So the standard 121 comes in at number 11, which is a tank I own and I am rubbish in, much like I am with all my tier 10 mediums. I just don't have the skill for them. I think that's part of the problem. This thing has improved rate of fire. It's still the same sort of gun, 105mm. It fires 6.9 rounds per minute, 261 penetration, which I think is slightly up on the standard 121, 350 when you hit that skill button, which of course you're going to, 390 average damage, 2,690 DPM is okay, 0.33 dispersion is alright, and 2.2 aim time is, yeah, same, alright. Firepower wise, what have we got here? Turret traverse 43.81, yeah, minus 5 gun depression, but you'll be used to that if you're a Chinese tank addict. That's pretty poor, so not particularly earth-shattering in terms of those stats, but the survivability is slightly lower, 1,950 hit points, 130, 80, 60 on the hull, 240, 160, 60 on the turret, and that turret is pretty well rounded, so it will block shots, it will bounce shots, and even that frontal plate, you know, only 130, but it's quite well angled again, so likely as not it will block some shells. Mobility wise, 40-ton vehicle, 700 horsepower engine, 17.5 power ratio is okay. Nothing spectacular. 50 top speed, similarly nothing spectacular. 52.15 hull traverse is okay as well, so it's a good solid tank. Concealment value just shy of 15 when stationary, so yeah, pretty reasonable as well. View range is excellent, 420. Wow, 420 view range for this thing. So there you go, that's number 4 in the charts, a tank you don't see much of, the 121B, not to be confused with the 121. So another one of the oddities and tier 10 medium tanks, this is the M60. This is a tier 10 American premium medium tank. This was you could only get this through Clan Wars, and it comes in at number 3, just shy of 5,000 games over the last 30 days, 2,576.55 average damage per game. Means this thing is pretty good, and most of the American tanks don't do so well in these charts, but this one certainly does. And it's got a very, very effective gun, 105mm gun, 6.82 rounds per minute, 268 penetration standard, 350 if you go for the premium shell, which of course you will. 390 average damage, 2,659 DPM, 0.33 dispersion, and 1.6 aim time. I would imagine this thing snapshots like a boss. Plus it's a Cyclops. Look, it's got that thing in the middle. It has very good gun depression. Well, okay done. -9 is okay. Hull turret traverse of 43.81. Very nice. Very nice. This would be one I would like myself if I ever got on my arse and did some Clan Wars. 2,000 hit points. Hull armor's pretty weak. 93, 73, 25 is very, very weak, and the turret armor's nothing much better. 177, 76 and 50. So this thing will get penned all day long. All day long. I went into Murray Walker there. 40, no, half the people won't know who Murray Walker is. Used to do Formula 1 commentary in the UK. 47 ton, 950 horsepower engine, 20.53 power ratios. Okay. In fact, that's more than okay. That's very good. So it gets away very rapidly. 60 top speed. It doesn't sustain it, but that's pretty good for a medium. 54.23 hull traverse is also very good. So it's a fairly nimble thing with a nice gun. Seems to be it. Pretty tall tank. So yeah, 6.95 concealment value means you're not going to be hidden for very long, and 420 view range is very effective. So yeah, nice looking medium. It's a shoot and scoot type tank. You get around, you shoot, get out of there. Seems to be the way it would operate. But that's your number 3. So number 2 is another oddity. This is the T95E6. There's another tier 10 American Clan Wars Reward premium medium tank. Comes in here at number 2, 4,594 games, 2,630.74 average damage per game. Very nice gun again, a bit like the previous one. 120mm gun, 7.5 rounds per minute, 258 standard penetration, 340 when you hit your inevitable two button, 400 average damage, 3,000 DPM, base DPM of 3,000. Ouch. 0.38 dispersion and 2 aim time. That gun kicks out some, yeah, whatever. 37.55 turret traverse is pretty good. -9 gun depression is very good. Yeah, 3,000 DPM. That's not to be sneezed at. Very nice indeed. Survivability, well, it doesn't really. Well, actually, the turret armor is very good. So 2,150 hit points. 114 hull armor, 50 on the side and 19 on the rear, 340 on the turret, and that's pretty well rounded. So I would imagine though that cupola is a weak spot, so not so good anyway. So you're not really going to be doing much in this in terms of brawling. It's well, using that armor anyway, it's going to get penned pretty easily, but the gun looks pretty darn good. Mobility wise, 40.91 tons, 750 horsepower engine, 18.33 power ratio is okay, 56.3 top speed, 47.98 hull traverse. So again, fairly nimble, not great top speed, but okay. Concealment, considering it's quite a big tank, is actually better than the M60. 10.49% concealment when stationary in a bush, 410 view range. So you don't see many of these things, but it's quite an effective tank, clearly in the hands of somebody who knows how to play it, and of course people who've gone through the Clan Wars generally know how to play these things. Anyway, that's number 2. So I've been doing these charts for a little while now, and sometimes I'm surprised by what comes in the top 5, sometimes I'm not. I was not surprised that this came in at number 1. This is the Russian tier 10 medium tank, the Object 907. Again, another reward tank, which you could only get through Clan Wars, it's an absolute beast, and coupled with the fact you tend to get very good players playing it, it makes it doubly powerful. So just shy of 10,000 games, 9,500 games, 2,664.06 average damage per game, which is very, very good. It's a full 1,000 higher than the bottom tier 10 heavy medium tank right now, according to VBAddicts, over the last 30 days across all servers. So firepower to deliver that kind of result comes via this 100mm gun, 9.2 rate of fire, 260 penetration with standard, but you won't be firing out. It'll be 330 heat, 320 average damage, giving it just shy of 3,000 DPM, which is very good. 0.36 dispersion is excellent, and 2,500. Sorry, 2,000. I'm reading out the weight. Don't need that. 2 aim time is what we are looking for. So nice gun with pretty good pen and pretty good alpha and very good DPM. Makes everybody happy apart from those on the receiving end. -5 gun depression, not surprising. It's Russian. 50 turret, 50 degrees per second turret traverse is very good. So very, very effective. Survivability, well, you're talking 2,000 hit points, 110 110 millimeters of frontal armor, 100 on the side, 45 on the rear, 228 on the front of the turret, 180 on the side of the turret. So again, very well rounded, will bounce a lot of hits, and does. I know from my own experiences it does. Mobility wise, it gets around. It's a nice tank for mobility. 36 tons, 610 horsepower, only 16.94 power ratio, but 55 top speed and 56.32 hull traverse. So it gets around reasonably. It's not as nimble as some of the mediums, but it's okay. 17.21 concealment value is actually pretty good for a medium at this tier. That's very good indeed. And spotting, 400 spot range. So yeah, 9,500 games, 2,664 average damage per game. These things are nasty. I dread seeing them in the games, but anyway, let's see somebody playing it, and playing it really well. If I can find somebody without firing premium all the time, I'll play that game, but I doubt I will. So here we have Mint God. Mint God. Some of the names people come up with is brilliant. Driving the Object 907 here on Mountain Pass. It is a tier 10 game, but he's in the Chosen 3, and he's going to have an absolute barnstormer, no surprise there, because that's why I'm featuring it. Heading out to the left. It's going to get very aggressive. Going to go in. I thought he was going to drop down, but no, he didn't. So I just see whether we can get some early spots of people that they run across. Got spotted himself, but look at him relying on the turret armor here. Wasted that shot. I think he thought there was somebody off to the left, but there clearly wasn't. Oh, unlucky on the ISM. Nicely done. Firing standard rounds at the moment, which are APCR. I feel sorry for big, thick, heavy tanks like this. I've been there before in the VK or a Type or something like that. You're trying to head across just to get in a position where you can actually influence the game, and it just... an early spot like this just wrecks your game completely. You can't do anything. It's the same on Cliff. Similar sort of thing. You try and get into an aggressive position where you can actually play a part of the game, and you just can't. You get wrecked, and at the end of the day you just end up base camping, because, you know, what can he do? That guy went from full health to 700 in the blink of an eye. So he's seen the fact, Mint has seen the fact the enemy team are pushing down the ice road, and he's taken the opportunity to fly around as quickly as he can. He's been spotted, which is a bit of a bummer. That spoils his fun. I think he was trying to get around the side of those things down the ice road, particularly going after that T-44 that's under the bridge. We got spotted, so that spoils his fun. Now this is going to be challenging. Tries to put a shot under the gun of the ISM. ISM misses him. He puts one through his turret, That looks like Commander's hatch, that was. Got to watch out for... Oh, there's a Bat-Chat camping on the top. Of course there is. This does look a wonderful medium tank. Really looks fun to play. Conqueror there just got spotted as he came around. The Conqueror has managed to turn his turret. Object's not paying him any attention. That might get his attention. Shot to the side of the turret. Now Conqueror is looking straight at him. See that before. Yeah, there we go. He was side scraping, so no effect from that shot. T44. Gonna watch our back. It's 1-all. Super Conqueror is still looking at... Oh no, he's fired. Right. So we can get out. Gonna head back this way again and see if we can work that ISM. With the VK down, makes working this ISM a little bit easier. Also, if you look, his friends are coming down the 1-2 line. So if he can put some pressure on this ISM, it could mean that they can push around a lot quicker and a lot easier. Right, he's up. Can he get a shot? Oh, there's the Bat-Chat in front of him. Puts a shot into the back of the turret. Don't think he wasn't paying attention to that Bat-Chat. Don't know what the Bat-Chat's thinking he's doing here. I mean, he's just sort of having a shootout with a medium, tier 10 medium. That is not a good idea. Lower plate of the ISM. Nice shot into him. Look at that. Look at that. Firing at the Commander's hatch there. Can he get the kill shot? Oh, I missed the kill shot. Of course he does. ISM's realised what's happening and is trying to lessen the chances, but no joy. Okay, so T62A at the back there. Nice snapshot into him. This thing does it all, doesn't it? Snapshots. Got a bit of turret armour. Just very nice indeed. Bounced his shell. There we go. Giving it the big up, and he bounces the bounces the shell on the T62A, but finishes him up. Right. There's a... what's that up there? Object up the top there. Don't want to get shot from him. But we do want to help these guys cross the bridge without too much. Still very tight game. 6 plays 5. Oh dear. There RU just killed himself by falling off the bridge or jumping off the bridge. I'm not sure which. That's yeah, okay. Enough said about that Scorpion. Hello. Let's have a new exhaust pipe on the E75. Up the pooper. Another one up the pooper. Under the lower plates, just working this E75 is in a horrible position. He should have been paying attention to his minimap, and he would have seen the fact that he was getting lightly attacked from behind. We've run out of standard rounds. We're now on to heat rounds, which is really a shame because he didn't need them there. He was doing a good enough job without them, but hey, he fired everything he had loaded out. Now the enemy team are basically composed of what's left. Is that Bat-Chat still there? He's left the Bat-Chat alone, and he's going after the higher value targets around the back here. Yep, there goes the... It's been spotted by the artillery. Doesn't have any HE on this tank, which is slightly surprising. Takes a hit from the object. It's an interesting play. He has got heat loaded, so he can pen this guy all day long. Goes after the artillery instead, which was an odd decision as well. Pays for, oh, he was lucky. Should have been cleaned up there, but wasn't. He's got two of them trying to feed on him, but he's just making them look stupid. There we go. Finishes up that guy. Oh no, he hasn't finished. Oh, did he bounce there? Shoot. Thought he had him finished, but no, he didn't. Now, oh, bounced another shot. No, right, okay, good. Oh, that was also confusing. Firing heat shells, and he still couldn't seem to penetrate him, which was slightly alarming. Still, loving the mobility of this thing. Gun handling looks to be excellent. You know, you feel for things like a Patriot going up against us here. 907 is a 957 is a far better proposition for us. Nice shot into the... Look at that. That poor old Patriot just couldn't pen us. That time he did though, but he paid for it. Can we finish off the last guy? Nice hit into him. Only 220 left. No. Game over. Got 5 kills. 9,900 damage. Nice. What's even more alarming with that result is the fact that that was a monster game. He did nearly 10,000 damage and 5 kills and ended up only with the first class. First class, bruiser, duelist, fighter, fire for effect, Confederate badge, high caliber. 9,955 damage, 5 kills, 1317 base X. 43 shots fired, hit with 38, penned with 33 for that 10,000 damage. Took 14 hits himself, only 4 of which penetrated. It's surprising how much it bounces, this thing. So nearly 2,000 blocked, which is outstanding. 125,000 credits. Did fire... it hasn't worked out the premium reload, which is annoying, because he did fire quite a lot of premium at the end because he ran out of standard rounds. So that number isn't going to be right. It's going to be a lot lower than that. Anyway, never mind. 4,000 experience with his ×2, and the fact he was driving a premium vehicle, because that thing counts as a premium. And you know, that's why the Object 907 is such a good tank. Good mobility, bit of armor, and an excellent gun. Makes it top of the pile, basically. So I've noticed how a lot of my tier 10 mediums are bottom of the charts according to average damage, which I'm probably keeping the average down because I'm shocking in them both. Well, the 3 that I have are all sub 50% win rates, and I don't do that well in either of them. Anyway, this is number 16 on the chart. There's 18 tier 10 medium tanks in the game right now. This is the Japanese tier 10 SDB1. Now, there's some talk that they might actually modify this and give it the same sort of stabilizing system that the Swedish tank destroyers have, but not so far. This thing, I love the tier 9, but for some reason I can't quite get this to work as well. I think it's because the skill level's so much better at tier 10 and noobs like me just aren't good enough. It has 105mm gun, 7.5 rate of fire, 258 penetration is very nice, 330 if you resort to skill, 390 average damage, nearly 3,000 DPM is very nice, 0.36 dispersion, but the aim time's not great, 2.3 is pretty weak. So a bit disappointing in terms of that. It was one of the things I felt let down with this tank. Minus 10 gun depression is very good, 45 turret traverse is very good. You can see though, with a decent crew, and this is on their 3rd skill, they haven't got brothers in arms yet fully, but I'm getting my aim time down to 1.92 and dispersion of 0.33, and with a rammer I'm getting 3,500 DPM, which is okay, which is pretty good. Survivability quite small, 1950 hit points, only 110 hull armor, 35, 25 on side and rear, 195 on the turret, 60 and 25. So this thing doesn't really want to get in a brawl. You want to be sniping, you want to be using the mobility, keeping that gun working. Nearly 38 tons, 750 horsepower engine, 19.84 power ratio, 53 top speed, nearly 60 hull traverse, so it's fairly nimble without being fantastic. 16 concealment, but that's with camo, so 13.68 concealment is okay actually. It's alright. Of course it's tier 10, so you're going to be spotted by everything, and certainly the moment you fire you certainly will be spotted. Spotting range, you're talking 410, is that 410? I think that is, if my maths is right, which is actually very, very good indeed. This thing should be able to spot for itself very nicely indeed. But it does come in 3rd from bottom, 7,367 games, 1,822 average damage per game. So second from bottom, according to VBAddicts, over the last 30 days for Tier 10 medium tanks is the Leopard I, the German Tier 10 medium tank. 18,897 games, 1,714.58 average damage per game. And it's strange because you see some people play this extremely well, but I guess that's the case with averages. Somebody plays it well, but if 5 or 6 people play it crap, then that'll bring down the average. 105mm gun, 6.9 rate of fire, 268 penetration with the standard round is very nice, 330 with your skill round, 390 average damage, 2690 DPM, 0.3 dispersion is very nice, and 1.9 aim time. This thing is very much a sniping medium. It's got a very good gun, good soft stats I believe as well. 37.55 turret traverse is okay, -9 gun depression is also very good. So yeah, you can see even with the stats that have now amended, I don't know why they do, probably because it's 100% crew. 1.82 aim time and 0.29 dispersion, so accurate when you get the chance to use it. But the trouble is you can't hang around in this thing because it just doesn't have any armor. 1950 hit points, 70, 35, 25 on the hull, 52, 60, 60 on the turret. So you know, everything, and I mean everything you come up against can pen you. Does have some good mobility, 40 tons, 830 horsepower engine, 20.75 power ratio is probably the best of the bunch, 65 top speed is also very good, and 56.32 traverse speed is very good. Concealment values should be better, I think, as it's not a particularly big tank, but I've noticed it with German tanks, they all seem to be pretty poor on their concealment, so only 14 base concealment for this thing. So you know, you'd be lucky to get 18 with all the bells and whistles on top. 410 view range, a bit like the STB. So kind of, yeah, it's a scout medium. It's a light medium. Very, very good gun. Gets around reasonably quickly, but once it gets cornered, and if it gets caught in the corridor maps that we know we're going to have all the time in this game, it gets butchered, and that's why it falls down to number 17 in the charts. So the worst performing Tier 10 medium tank in the game right now is actually a Russian tank. God, expect a boost fairly soon on this thing. 18,466 games, 1,672.95 average damage per game. It was the first, what was my first Tier 10? I think it probably was my first Tier 10, and I'm rubbish in it. My average damage is okay, 1,700. We'll see how that stands out. Well, actually it does. It's over 100 more than the average. So 18,466 games, 1,672.95. I'm getting 1,700. So barely over the minimum. But hey, I'm not good in Tier 10 medium tanks. I should stick away from them. This thing, so it kind of got a reverse nerf. A sort of effective nerf. There used to be the big decision in the game was, which do you go for? Do you go for the Object 140 or the T62A? The T62A had the better turret and the better gun handling. The Object 430 had better mobility. I can't remember. So basically there was a difference between the two of them. Then in their wisdom, Wargaming changed the mechanics of the Object and basically made it identical, pretty much identical as this T62A, but betterer. And this thing really has suffered consequently because it doesn't really, it doesn't have a roll. They're all beaten by the 430U, of course, but this thing didn't really have a roll anymore, and it suffered. And you can see it's bottom of the charts, and I'm sure it will be getting some kind of buff at some point because it does actually need it. It's pretty shocking. At least in my mind anyway. You can tell me whether you think, whether you agree. Mind you, the Object 140 I've just noticed only comes in at number 14. The full rundown of all 18 tanks at this tier you can see in the description for this video if you are interested. So T62A comes with a 100mm gun, 9.1 round of rate of fire, 264 penetration with standard, 330 with the inevitable heat, 320 average damage, just shy of 3,000 DPM, so that's pretty reasonable. 0.34 dispersion is nah. and 2 aim time is also okay, nothing special, so not bad. -5 gun depression is horrible. 52.33 turret traverse is very good. I'm getting a bit on that actually. So yeah, it's probably around about 50 if I take off the crew skills off that. You can see with my gun rammer, vents, decent crew with Brothers in Arms, or actually Sisterhood of Steel, isn't it? I think I'm getting 3,500 DPM, which is very nice indeed. So should be more effective than I am in it, but I'm not. Survivability, 1,950 hit points is fairly standard. 100 hull armor, pretty well angled, but you know, you're up against big ass guns, so you're not probably going to bounce much in it. 80 at the side, 45 at the rear, 240 on the turret. Very, very well rounded. Used to be the real strength of this tank, not so much anymore, especially with HE guns firing at you. In terms of mobility, 37.5 ton vehicle, 580 horsepower engine, 15.49 power ratio, 50 top speed, 62.16 hull traverse is very good indeed. So yeah, sort of yeah, really, that's pretty much this tank all over. Yeah. Camo values, again I'm going to need to take off what I've got here, so it's 3, 4, 5, call that 5, so about 15% concealment value is okay. It's okay, nothing special. And again I need to take off this, so view range 25, it's 400 view range is pretty good as well. So doesn't perform that well though in battle, and clearly I'm not the only one that struggles with it, because it comes in at bottom of the charts. So there you go, that was the top 5 and bottom 3 tier 10 medium tanks in the game right now. Looking at the stats on VBAddicts for games played in the last 30 days across all servers, ranking performance based on average damage inflicted in those games. And yeah, you can see that the Clan War tanks completely dominate this category of vehicle, which is a real shame, because most of us will never get our chance to buy those things or to get hold of these things. But there's some good performers up there. TVP is a good strong performer. The Bat-Chatillon is actually in the middle of the pack. I was expecting that to be higher, but as I say, you can see the full rundown of all the tanks performances in the description of this video down below. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, and if you haven't already subscribe to the channel. In the meantime, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously, and I'll see you again soon. This is Gamer Dom signing out.